Hey, Stellar Seeker, what is up? I am Greg. This is the Astral Assemblage podcast, the Astral Arkitekt, a devlog where we talk all things Astral Assemblage games. And in this one, episode 7, we're going to continue where we left off with a little intro into Web3 and digital asset ownership, which is one of the most important tenets of Web3 gaming. And to make entry into the Web3 arena for Astral Assemblage games, I knew I was going to need some sort of valuable asset that players could purchase that would have in-game utility, look cool, be a conversation piece, that kind of thing, and would act as a proof of concept for future items I might create in terms of the framework I use to give it utility. And so I started this project. It's turned into a whole thing, a little rabbit hole all its own called the Void Mosaic. What is a Void Mosaic? Well, a Void Mosaic is something created by the Archon Cygnus, Archon of Celestial Bodies, Lord of Technology, in the game Seven Archons Aeon's Ascent to stem the tide in the battle against what are known as void creatures. Void creatures are nasty beings from an extra dimensional world known as the Void, and they are devouring entire star systems, destroying billions of lives, and generally wreaking havoc and unleashing chaos upon the hypostasis, the known universe in the game Seven Archons Aeon's Ascent. To stem the tide of the Void incursion, Cygnus created the Void Mosaics. The Void Mosaics act as lures and stasis fields with which the Archons can trap Void creatures and send them en masse back to the Void. So, what does that mean to a player in game? Well, as a player in game, you will be able to play daily survival mode matches against the Void creatures in an attempt to fill up your Void Mosaic and send it on a trip through the Void to return those creatures from whence they came. I think that's pretty cool. I can't wait to implement these mechanics in game. But for now, let's talk about the Web3 aspect of it, the digital collectible, the Void Mosaic. Let me show you what they look like. All right, so what you see in front of you being built right this second is a Void Mosaic. A Void Mosaic is at once a in-game asset for Seven Archons Aeon's Ascent, and on the other hand, it is a visual representation of Bitcoin block data. So the Bitcoin blockchain is made up of blocks, of course, and each of these blocks contains hundreds of transactions in the thousands, actually. And on average, there's about 2,900 and something transactions, I think, per block. And each one of the pieces that you saw fly into place and assemble there is a transaction represented visually in 3D. So the components that make this up are non-arbitrary, like the size, the thing that makes the columns, all of that is done with math. And I think that's really cool because these have like an absolutely wild structure to them. So this is just one example here. I forget the block number of this one, but basically what you do is you come to voidmosaic.xyz and you click explore, and then you type in a block height. And in a moment, the page will load. I'm still working on a loading screen, but look at these things, man. They're crazy. They're super detailed in some cases, and then in other cases where you have single block transactions, it's literally just a golden cube. But this is a very complex block, and you can see there's all sorts of unique patterns emerging here from the way it distributed the transactions according to their size in relation to the other transactions contained in this block. And there are over 833,000 of these. There's about to be 834,000 when this next block clears. So what is it that makes the Void Mosaics an in-game item? Well, it's the fact that these can be exported and inscribed onto the Bitcoin blockchain. Then you'll have it in your wallet if you mint one of these. When you check into the game with your wallet attached to your player account, we will be able to see, hey, he owns a Void Mosaic. We're going to give him some special abilities in game. So here's one that I own. This is the date that I found in my company, folks, 6/6/2023. Just a little under a year ago. We're like at the 9-month mark, I think. And Void Mosaic 662023 is very special because this is the first one that I ever saw. This is what made me decide that these were going to be works of art. Was I saw this and it just blew my mind because I was like, I own the bitmap for this parcel. I got it from a very nice guy on Twitter. I was lucky enough to find his wallet on his Twitter account, and that enabled me to contact him. And these Void Mosaics are going to be an awesome addition to the game because they're going to enable the collection of new awakened heroes. And these awakened heroes will be able to be minted as ordinals on the Bitcoin blockchain. Or I'm actually not sure that they're going to be for Bitcoin because the fees are kind of high. But I am looking at layer 2 chain implementations for Bitcoin, like Merlin layer and or Merlin chain. And one of the exciting things about Merlin chain is the transaction fees are nice and low because it's built on I think it's built against Polygon if I remember correctly. And when you check into the game, there will be special metadata attached to this that unlocks the ability for you to have your daily death matches based on certain rarity traits that the block the Void Mosaic represents has. We will also be able to alter the statistics of the rewards. So, you know, as this block might only get a 5% boost to match rewards, whereas a more rare block like one containing 777s, for example, might yield you triple that and give you like 12% or 15%. So that's the thinking behind it. These things have turned into a whole project in and of themselves. I do encourage you to come check out voidmosaic.xyz here, and also take a look at the project docs up here in the top right. You'll see a little Gitbook link. When you click on that, it takes you to the Void Mosaic project documentation, which tells you a bit about our goals, our roadmap, about me, as well as guides for collectors, and soon a guide for gamers and how to support the project, as well as resources for other builders that are interested in generative art, 3D experiences in the browser, where to get the data that I use to do this, etc. So I think that this is an exciting project. It's a proof of concept for enabling assets that you create on the Bitcoin blockchain to trigger application functionality when a person connects their wallet and reveals that they own this asset. We'll be able to read metadata from inside the object itself that enables app functionality so that we don't need smart contracts and VMs to pull off Web3 awesomeness. And when we do get a layer 2 or a virtual machine for Bitcoin and smart contracts, awesome. These will still work because then you can move from a metadata embedded in the object approach to a smart contract approach. But for now, we don't have smart contracts on Bitcoin. So to get that interactive functionality, I had to find a workaround, and I thought of stuffing metadata into the thing. So do give the documentation over here on Void Mosaic's project, docs.voidmosaic.xyz, a read. I think it's a interesting idea, and I'm definitely looking for feedback and any kind of support you could provide. All right, so I've been talking for a few minutes. I want to wrap things up, but I want to tell you about the coolest part of my week. So I created the Void Mosaics. I launched the website initially. It had a terrible landing page. You couldn't get to the view Void Mosaic section without putting in your name or your email address. I have since changed all that, and now it's much more user friendly. And one of the things that happened Thursday night is at the end of the night, I was like, if I'm going to juggle the Void Mosaic project on top of the gaming project and everything else that I do, I'm going to need a little extra cash flow to hire a developer. So to give myself that opportunity, I created what's called a BRC 420 token. These BRC 420 tokens on the Bitcoin blockchain act as licenses for other people in the Bitcoin ecosystem to use an ordinal inscription in their metaverse environment or however they like, really. And it can also act as a token gate, like you must have this token to access this feature. And that's my thinking here when I created the token. And so I created it Thursday night with a supply of 777 tokens. And I didn't even bother to buy any to hold for myself for marketing purposes like giveaways. I was just like, oh, I'll do it in the morning. Nobody's going to buy this thing. They don't know what it is. And there are some problems with the main marketplace where you buy these where it makes it difficult to give project details. So I didn't think these were going to move at all, and I went to bed. I woke up the next morning and all 777 had been sold. And so like it was like a real dream come true. I'm still letting it sink in that, now the company is in revenue and I have the ability to do some small project hires to push the envelope forward. And it's huge, huge for Astral Assemblage Games. And I couldn't have done it without the support of the Bitcoin and crypto community because they're the early adopters, And there wasn't much info out when they purchased this. They were just able to go to the website and see that there is, in fact, a project behind it. And a few of the holders have jumped into our Discord community, which is really cool. And I spoke with them, and they've been very supportive. They've been giving me everything from marketing ideas to just general encouragement. So, yeah, we're in revenue now, and that's super exciting. What a great way to wrap up a long week, hard grind, and just see a little bit of validation and reward for all the hard work that I've been doing. And I'm super thankful, and I can't say thank you enough to everyone that contributed to the mint out of the BRC 420 token for the Void Mosaics. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching if you watched this far, and I hope to see you in the next video.